Coming up on NFL Tonight, Monday Night Football kicks off with a full dose of Miller time.
Are you ready for some football? Al Michaels!
More adversity for Cincinnati, another bad break for the Bengals. The Cowboys secondary prepares for life without Deion. And we'll be joined by Derek Brooks to talk about the upcoming season as well as his unusual offseason. So keep lying around. NFL Tonight is next. Hi, everyone. Welcome to NFL Tonight. I'm Susie Colbert, and back from vacation, the coach, Marty Schottenheimer. Another hole-in-one. You must be feeling pretty confident.
I'm thrilled. Waterville hole-in-one. It made my trip.
Sounds nice. Now it's time to get to business. Even a training camp roster overstocked with players targeted to fill their biggest weaknesses could not protect the Bengals from a serious blow. Wide receiver Darnay Scott, their leading receiver last year, is out for the season. Scott broke both major bones, the tibia and fibula, in his left leg during the team's morning workout. Surgery to insert a rod in his tibia was immediately scheduled for Tuesday. Once again, Scott out for the season.
We're waiting for the x-rays and all that, but just a blow to us, and just a little more adversity to overcome.
We have to pick it up as a group, as a team. You know, Darnay is the type of guy that he doesn't want anybody feeling sorry for him, you know, especially the receiving group. He wants us to step it up and play as well for him as we would if he was still playing.
Here's where the Bengals stand. Scott led the team in receptions last year. Carl Pickens was number 2. We know he's gone. Corey Dillon was number 3. They may not see him again in the backfield. What can Peter Warrick, the draft choice, do to fill all of those positions?
You know, I think the face of Coslett, I think, expresses it very, very clearly. They're in a very difficult situation. Peter Warrick, in my view, was the best player coming out in the recent draft. I think the situation that they find themselves in, quite simply, is this. Not only are they thin in experience at the wide receiver position, but, Susie, they have no experience at quarterback. It's going to be very difficult for them in the passing game in this season.
And at running back, no Dillon, and their backup, Michael Basnight, also injured. He's out with an injured wrist 8 to 10 weeks. It just can't get worse. A huge sigh of relief coming out of Ravens camp. First-round draft choice wide receiver Travis Taylor has agreed in principle to a contract and is expected to join the team Thursday. Terms were not disclosed, but the last offer was reportedly worth $7.5 million over 5 years with $5 million up front. Taylor, who at number 10 overall was the highest pick, still holding out, missed the first 9 days of camp, a total of 14 practices and 1 scrimmage. Now the Ravens have their share of injuries as well. Patrick Johnson out 6 to 8 weeks. Their other first-round pick, Jamal Lewis, is also out till the season starts. How fast, realistically, can they get Taylor up to speed?
I think it's going to take them a while, and I think the thing you want to always be cautious about is you bring a young man in a situation like that, Susie, and what happens is he has so many things on his mind from a mental standpoint that sometimes he has a tendency to wear himself down physically. I'm not sure the numbers they have at wide receiver, but clearly he's a guy that they're going to count on. They had the idea when they selected him he may indeed be a starter. But I think right now they've got to be very, very careful. They don't push him too fast. He may, in fact, lose confidence if he struggles, and they certainly don't want that.
Brian Billick, in full agreement with you. Looks like he's probably going to hold him out for the first 2 preseason games, and he says it's not a punishment, just a precaution. Elsewhere, Cowboys fans do not panic about their slow start in their first preseason game. Little of their new offense was unveiled, and Troy Aikman seems pleased with the updated passing game. More on that in a moment. First, defense. Despite holding their own and at times carrying the team with the league's 9th-ranked D last season, once again, there are doubters, especially when it comes to their cornerbacks. Ed Werder has the details.
Susie, nobody has a greater appreciation for the importance of cornerback play than Dave Campo. Began his Dallas coaching career working with the secondary before being promoted to defensive coordinator. Now, how the Cowboys cope with the free agent defection of cornerback Deion Sanders will weigh heavily in determining how successful they are in Campo's rookie season as head coach. Preparing to replace Deion Sanders, the Cowboys signed Ryan McNeil as a free agent and took cornerbacks with their first 3 draft choices: Dwayne Goodrich, Mario Edwards, and Kareem Larimore. but Dave Campo could only watch as the Steelers took liberties with all three of the rookies in the preseason opener.
I think that there were some plays made on them, but, you know, if you look through the course of the whole ball game, there were a number of things that they did very well. So I think it's a case of in a jump ball situation, being on the, you know, in those areas, we didn't do as well as they needed to do, but that's a learning experience for them. They've never, you know, maybe encountered a guy of the size of some of their receivers that were going for the football in a NFL game.
Everybody that knows the Cowboys defense knows the key to our defense is our corners. Our corners have to play well in order for us to play well. And, you know, without Deion, we're a totally different team.
The Cowboys secondary is going to play differently this season. They'll mix coverages and rotate more cornerbacks. That's necessary because not only is Sanders gone, but Kevin Smith's been made vulnerable because of back problems. Injuries aside, the Cowboys are trying to adjust to the latest offensive trend, multiple receiver attacks.
We probably won't man up as much as we used to in the past, and we won't, you know, stack the line as much as we used to in the past on his side. But you know, even last year, you saw, you know, when we did that, you know, teams found a way to beat the coverage, even the Deion Sanders coverage.
Safeties have to do a better job of helping the corners now. In years past, in the last 4 or 5 years since Deion was here, we didn't help our corners. We just left them out there and left them, like we say, left them on the island. But now, with the younger guys in there, we're going to roll up coverage and help them over the top.
I think we have some talent all the way through, but it's young talent.
The Cowboys think Edwards has the best chance of playing early during his rookie season. But the player with the most natural ability and potential is Larimore, the 4th-round pick. Susie, he fractured his right hand in Sunday's game, but was back out here practicing with the Cowboys on Tuesday.
Thanks, Ed. The main replacement brought in for Deion Sanders at cornerback is Ryan McNeil. McNeil had a league-leading interception total of 9 in 1997 with the Rams, but has just 11 over the other 6 years of his career, including none last year with Cleveland. But, Marty, let's turn to the offensive side. Dave Campo's the defensive guy. On the offensive side, it's Jack Riley and consultant Ernie Zampese. You want to go back to the Super Bowl days. More variety, more up-tempo on the offense, but how well does Joey Galloway fit into that system?
Susie, I was frankly a bit surprised when they acquired Galloway because the routes that he tends to run the best, the vertical routes, go routes, and the comebacks are not the thing that Troy Aikman has been most successful at throwing. But the routes that they've got him involved with now are those deep crossing routes over the middle of the football field, a place where it gets very noisy and you find yourself in a situation as that receiver's coming across the middle of the field, there's a lot of opposite colored jerseys hanging around. So I think what they're doing is they're going to incorporate these deep crossing patterns. But I think when you look at Galloway from a physical standpoint, he's a talented guy. But his strength, quite frankly, in my opinion, Susie, is when he has got the ball working vertically down the football field because he is the guy that's got a chance to get a score anytime you play. We played him twice a year when I was in Kansas City, and you always had to account for Joey Galloway because he can light up the scoreboard. One
major issue with this system, 15 to 20% of the playbook relies on the tight ends. David LaFleur is out. Mike Lucky out for the season. Troy Aikman doesn't have Jay Novacek anymore.
Well, he sure doesn't. And what he's doing, I think right now they're trying to rely on the speed that the Rocket brings him along with Galloway, but that tight end is certainly a weak spot for him right now.
A lot of work for the Cowboys. They haven't won a playoff game since 1996. And just ahead on NFL tonight, Dennis's debut. If you watch the game, you have an opinion. If not, we offer something.
Sure, that was the hat on. Look, the angle looked a little lower to me. I think that's the new cup cam they've brought in.
Also on tap, Bucs linebacker Derek Brooks makes dreams come true as he tackles education. South Africa ahead.
Watch RPM tonight, every night on ESPN2.
Sellout here. You got to play with emotion. They're going crazy. It doesn't get any better than this.
You know what I love about Hong Kong?
What's that?
No leash. There's no way for the office to keep tabs on you. Hello? Really? It's official? No, thank you. What is that?
Nextel Worldwide works everywhere we do.
Well, that just means you're going to have to work everywhere, Bob.
Actually, it means you do. I just got promoted. You work for me.
Introducing Nextel Worldwide. One phone, one number, worldwide. Nextel, how business gets done.
Time to buy a Montero Sport. 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments till spring 2001 at Mitsubishi's Car Envy event. Good on any 2000 Mitsubishi.
Technology is driven by vision.
I always like to build things.
Communicates the data through FIFOs. And
their eyes light up about the projects that they've worked on.
Rearrange it, decompose it.
To create a difference in people's lives.
One of the things about being in technology is that
people don't know what I do.
There are all sorts of levels.
One of our best employees,
they cooperatively multitask.
He would tell us that he actually would wake up in the middle of the night dreaming code, and at that moment we just hired him.
Techies.com. Tech careers, tips, training.
NFL Tonight is brought to you by New Midas. We're a whole new way to keep a good thing going. Go Midas.
Earlier, we covered the Cowboys' recent struggles, whether minor compared to that of their one-time nemesis, the San Francisco 49ers. And that was brutally clear in the first Monday night game of the preseason, a Patriots 20-0 shutout. With many of their veteran starters out because of injuries, the Niners rookies felt the heat, but they weren't alone. Dennis Miller, under intense scrutiny, made his debut in the booth.
I just want you to know it is a game, but I also realize it's a game many of you take seriously. It's not the Vatican, but then again, the Pope doesn't have to go across the middle on guys like Ronnie Lott very frequently. I'll do my best. I'll study hard. Let's tee it up and have some fun. I'm not sure there is such a thing as minor groin surgery. Anybody has a sharp implement around my genitalia, I'm thinking it's major. By the way, guys, Bledsoe was sacked 56 times last night.
That was a bad night.
Ever since Curtis Martin moved on to New York, it's almost like a lowercase curse of the Bambino. Like I said, Raymond Harris has made New England completely forget Curtis Martin. Belichick is wrapped tighter than an expectant father's watch. I cannot tell you how lost I am. And Chu regurgitated. You can see Bishop's agility, but he must feel somewhat like I do right now. Things are coming fast and furious.
Aren't they? Might be.
Run out of town on a rail, but I'm digging it so far. Sure, that was the hat now. Look, the angle looked a little lower to me. I think that's the new cup cam they've brought in. Be nice if Damian went on to have a Hall of Fame career. Then the image of a ball going through somebody's legs in New England might be Damian Woody and not poor Bill Buckner. It's about time to let Billy go. It was one play. I think it's time to call it now, and I'm going to say start blow-drying Teddy Koppel's hair, because this one's done.
And back to the game, probably the biggest surprise was the Patriots, that makeshift offensive line, but their running game really took off, especially Raymond Harris, 1,000-yard rusher in Chicago, but pretty much took last year off just to get healthy, and boy, was he healthy.
You know, Susie, I think this is really an ideal situation right now. Bill Belichick clearly wants to establish an attitude of toughness on his football team, and Raymond Harris can bring that to the game for him. Raymond Harris is the kind of a guy that will run behind his shoulder pads. He will wear people down through the course of the game. He's not the kind of a guy who's going to run off with a thing and make an 80-yard run, but he is clearly a guy who complements Kevin Falk. Now, Falk's a guy with quickness and the ability to make people miss, as is evidenced here. You know, the Patriots are in a situation where many people consider that running back position to be a negative situation. I think it may, in fact, prove to be positive for them.
Not too many positives for the Niners. For the first time in 20 years, they ran a play out of the shotgun. It was Jeff Garcia's only first down, and as Steve Mariucci said, this team has a long way to go. In off-the-field news, a judge ruled Tuesday that Ray Caruth's infant son may visit him in jail, where the former Panthers receiver is being held on charges of masterminding the shooting death of the child's mother. The judge also approved an agreement that requires Caruth to sell his house, then split any proceeds between his infant son and his 5-year-old son, who lives in California. Still coming your way, Plexico is smooth as glass. Rookie debuts as we review the weekend.
You can jab him in the ribs. You can try to turn him over.
You can put a pillow over his head, but nothing will stop that awful snoring.
Snoring can even ruin a romantic cruise. Hi, I'm Bernie Coppell, and I have something that will solve your snoring problems once and for all, guaranteed. This amazing product is called D-Snore. It's a unique new formula in the form of a spray. That's right, it's a spray. Just spray D-Snore on the upper part of your throat. It works instantly to moisten the membranes of your soft palate and allow free and easy breathing. You'll sleep without snoring all night long. D-Snore will work for you, too. It's guaranteed. If you snore or have a loved one that snores, get D-Snore. It's just what the doctor ordered.
Have your credit card ready and call 1-800-510-8593 to order D-Snore. Don't miss this opportunity to finally end that dreadful snoring. Call 1-800-510-8593.
Dad, is it true what Mom says, that Scamp is at a special dog ranch in the sky, playing with other dogs?
Oh, no. He's right out back, buried behind the shed. In the sky. Come on.
Football's back. Make room. Falcons Cowboys, Saturday at 10 on ESPN.
This early in training camp.